What if you were never really separate from the universe? What if the biggest illusion isn't magic, but the belief that you and everything else are different? Welcome back to our journey with Adi Shankaracharya. We've followed his life, his travels, and his legendary debates. But what was he really fighting for? At the heart of his genius was a radical truth, Advaita Vedanta, the idea that you are not just a person, but the universe itself. Sound wild? It is. But it's also one of the most profound and influential ideas in history. Let's unlock it together and subscribe so you don't miss the next big revelation. So, what exactly is Advaita Vedanta? Let's break it down. Advaita means not two, in other words, non duality. Vedanta means the end of the Vedas, the highest knowledge found in India's oldest scriptures. Shankara's core idea is simple but revolutionary. Your true self, Atman, is not separate from Brahman, the ultimate reality. Imagine you're a wave in the ocean. The wave looks separate, has its own movement, its own form. But what is it really? Just the ocean appearing as a wave for a moment. When the wave crashes, does it die? No, it simply returns to what it always was, water. That's Shankara's insight. We see ourselves as individuals, separate, temporary, limited. But beneath the surface, we're not just us. We are part of something infinite, something that never changes. That infinite reality? That's Brahman. It's like realizing that the light from a lamp and the light from the sun are not different kinds of light. They're just expressions of the same energy. Mind bending, right? But this isn't just a theory, it's a way of seeing the world that changes everything. Where did this idea come from? Shankara didn't invent it, he revived it. Advaita Vedanta is rooted in the Upanishads, the deepest, most mystical texts of the Vedas. For centuries, these teachings were passed down orally, only understood by a few. One of the most powerful verses, Tat Tvamasi, thou art that. This comes from the Chandogya Upanishad, where a father tells his son, you are not just this body, not just this mind, you are that, Brahman itself. Or take the Brihadaranyaka Upanishad, where a sage declares, I am Brahman. These weren't metaphors or poetry. The ancient sages meant it literally. But by Shankara's time, their meaning was getting lost in rituals, traditions, and competing philosophies. Some saw the Upanishads as teaching devotion to God. Others thought they were mystical riddles. Shankara cut through the confusion. He argued that the Upanishads aren't about worship, they're about realization. They don't tell us to seek Brahman as something out there. They tell us to recognize that we already are Brahman. Like a lion cub raised by sheep, we've forgotten who we are. Shankara's mission was to wake us up. So what did Shankara do that was so special? He clarified Advaita like no one before him. Many scholars thought the Upanishads taught a kind of duality, God on one side, humans on the other. But Shankara boldly said, no, there is no separation at all. He called this ignorance avidya, not just not knowing, but seeing the world incorrectly. Like mistaking a rope for a snake in the dark, we mistake our limited self, ego, for who we really are. Shankara argued that realizing non-duality isn't just for monks, it's the true nature of all beings. We don't become Brahman, we always were Brahman. And here's where it gets practical. Afraid of death? What dies is the body, not the real you. Feeling lost or disconnected? That's the illusion Maya, tricking you. Searching for meaning? You're already what you seek, you just need to remember. This wasn't just philosophy, it was a radical shift in perception, and it's still shaping the world today. Advaita Vedanta isn't just a theory, it's a wake-up call. It's been over 1,000 years since Shankara, but his wisdom is more relevant than ever. His insights have shaped everything from meditation to quantum physics, from self-inquiry to modern spirituality. But if this truth is so simple, why don't we all see it? That's where Maya comes in, the illusion that keeps us from realizing non-duality. And that's exactly what we're breaking down in the next video. What is Maya? Why do we see separation when none exists? And how do we break free? Does Advaita Vedanta make sense to you? Or does it sound too abstract? Drop your thoughts below, hit that like button if your mind's buzzing, and subscribe, because next, we're tackling the greatest illusion of all. See you there!